I am Jessica Farmer, and I am the co-founder of Foray Business Group. We're based out of Vancouver, Washington in the US, and we are an online bookkeeping and payroll firm. Before we were using Pixie or any other kind of workflow management system, some of the common issues that we were facing was confusion regarding our workflow, what steps of the process different projects were at. It would made it difficult to give clients updates on where we were at as far as cleanup projects or their monthly bookkeeping. It was also difficult internally to know what team member was working on what parts of what projects. So there was oftentimes days or even a week missed between when one team member finished a part of a project and another team member picked it up because we didn't have a good workflow to allow for that. And an email or a text message or an instant message letting somebody know that it was their turn just kind of got lost in the workflow. And when you've got hundreds of emails coming through, it just all kind of started falling through the cracks. So the impact of the problems that we were facing on myself, my co-founder, Elizabeth Bergen, and the rest of our team was really a heightened sense of anxiety around the work that we were producing. There was a lack of confidence that we were providing the level of service that we were promising. And there were concerns of client turnover, that we weren't going to be fulfilling the promises that we'd made, and that was going to result in clients choosing to leave us for other options. We'd met some vendors at various accounting conferences, and so we tested out a couple different products. We tried to implement a few of them, but the combination of the learning curve plus just the complexity of them, it was beyond where we were at. Everything we do, our tagline at the time was that we streamline and simplify and demystify, and every workflow product we found that we attempted to implement did not streamline, it did not simplify, and it did not demystify our own internal work processes. I think the things that were most appealing to me were we had just converted our whole team to the Microsoft Teams platform. And so we had the option to integrate with our Microsoft 365 email accounts to pull that data in. At that point in time, it was very clear to me that 95% of our work was generated from emails. And so the ability to turn an email into a task just blew my mind, because even though most workflow management programs will let you attach an email to a project, I've never seen somebody let me turn an email into an item that needs to be worked on. So that was incredible. The ability to have my entire team working with us for one price was another thing. For a small firm like us, software that charges $50 or $100 or $150 per user was just really out of reach. And I was having to dig deep to decide that this was important enough. So the fact that Pixie was built to allow small firms to succeed just really spoke to our heart as a business. We were fully implemented within a month of me deciding to do 100% of my workflow in Pixie. So my team followed me. So once I decided that every task and every email and every interaction with the client was going to be documented through Pixie and stop using anything else, my team had to follow because that's where the data was. And now Pixie's the first tab I open in my web browser in the morning, and it's the last web tab that I close in my web browser at night. In the middle of the day, if we're in a team meeting and somebody says, "Hey, will you do that?" we say, "Add that to Pixie," right? We don't make a note of it. We don't create a sticky note. We don't send an IM. "Add that to Pixie" is our new catchphrase in the middle of any meeting. So some of the ways that Pixie has helped us and some of the outcomes we've had is that our team now has a much more clear definition of what their roles are in any given project. We know what step 1 through step Z is. We know when we need to interact with clients, and we know what internal deadlines we want to focus on. Instead of having a 3-month project that we're working on for somebody where the client might get contacted every couple weeks, we now have a way to say, contact client on day 5. Contact client on day 10, contact client on day 11, contact client at these points. So we're able to track those contacts. We're able to remind ourselves to do those things without having to add 1,000 calendar invites, because when we're checking our workflow every day, we're seeing those things. So we're building in those tasks. I think the greatest result that our clients are seeing is that we have moved from providing month-end financial reports between the 20th and the 25th to month-end financial reports between the 8th and the 10th. So over 2 weeks of improvement in the timeline, because we know what's on our plate. We know what work we have coming in and going out. We know exactly who is working on what projects at what time. We know when we requested things from clients versus when they turn them in. The other thing that I have noticed that goes back to that work-life equilibrium is that when I walk away from my computer at night, I no longer spend the next 2 hours dreading what I forgot, right? So when I leave my computer and I go upstairs to cook dinner for my family, play board games with my kids or tuck them into bed and read, I am not half at home and half at work thinking about the task I forgot to do, because I know that when I wake up in the morning and I open my first tab of the day, Pixie is going to tell me exactly what I need to do today. So I don't have to worry about that. All I have to do is finish what's in there for today and move forward. So that is an incredible improvement on what life looked like before.